So, let's talk about fasting. It feels like it's everywhere right now, doesn't it? From wellness blogs to celebrity diets, you really can't miss it. But here's the thing. Is this just another passing trend? Or are we tapping into something, well, something ancient? That's what we're going to dig into today. Is it just modern hype, or is it timeless wisdom?
And really, that's the big question, isn't it? When you see all this buzz, you've got to wonder, are we just reinventing the wheel with the next big diet fad, or are we actually rediscovering a powerful health tool that our ancestors understood all along? The answer, I think, is pretty fascinating, and it might just change the way you look at your next meal.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we have to go way back. I'm talking ancient India, to the system of medicine we know as Ayurveda. And what's so interesting here is that for them, fasting had almost nothing to do with weight loss. It was a full-on spiritual and physical reset, and they had a special name for it, upavasa.
Now, the word upavasa itself is pretty incredible. In Sanskrit, it literally means to draw closer to the self. I mean, think about that for a second. This tells you right away that it was never, ever just about skipping a meal. It was about making a conscious choice to give your whole system, your body and your mind, a much-needed break from the non-stop job of digesting food. It's all about hitting pause so you can rest, repair, and just rejuvenate.
So why was this pause so important to them? Well, it all comes down to this one super important concept in Ayurveda called Agni. The easiest way to think of Agni is as your digestive fire. It's like a little furnace inside you. And in Ayurveda, everything about your health depends on how strong and bright that fire is burning. A healthy Agni is what takes the food you eat and powerfully transforms it into pure energy.
But what happens when that fire starts to get weak? Well, Ayurveda lays out this simple three-step chain reaction. First, if we're constantly eating, we essentially smother that digestive fire. We don't give it any air to breathe. Second, when that fire is weak, it can't burn through food properly. And that creates this sticky, toxic residue they called ama. And finally, as that ama builds up and spreads through your system, that's when they believe disease really starts to take root.
And this is where upavasa comes in to save the day. See, by giving your digestive system a total rest, you stop throwing wet logs on a weak fire. You give it a break. And that pause allows your Agni, your inner fire, to roar back to life. It gets a chance to burn off all that accumulated ama and just clean house from the inside out. The most important part here, it's about letting your body do what it's designed to do, heal itself.
Okay, I know what some of you might be thinking. That's a nice story, sounds cool, but what does actual science have to say about all this? And this, my friends, is where things get really exciting. Because it turns out modern research is now finding the words, the data, the proof for what these ancient Ayurvedic practitioners figured out just by observing the human body thousands of years ago.
Just look at this comparison. It's mind-blowing. That ancient idea of clearing out ama, well, modern science calls that enhancing cellular cleanup and waste removal. That feeling of lightness and mental clarity they talked about, we now have studies linking fasting to improved brain function, learning, and memory. And the big one, reversing the root of disease, science now shows that fasting can significantly reduce C-reactive protein, which is a major marker for inflammation in the body. It's like we're finally catching up to their intuition.
But here's where Ayurveda offers something that a lot of modern fasting trends totally miss, and it's so important: personalization. See, in Ayurveda, there is no one-size-fits-all plan, ever. They understood that the right way to fast depends completely on your unique body type, your constitution, which they call your dosha.
And this is such a game changer. For example, if you're a Vata type, think air and ether, kind of light and mobile, long fasts are a big no-no. They can totally throw you off balance and make you feel weak. Then you have the Pitta types, all fire and water. They have a naturally strong digestive fire, so fasting for too long can actually make it too strong, like adding gasoline to a bonfire. But then, for the Kapha types, who are more earthy and watery and can sometimes feel a bit heavy or sluggish, fasting is fantastic. It's the perfect tool to kickstart their system and bring in some lightness.
All right, so we have this amazing ancient wisdom, and we have modern science backing it up. So how does this actually look in the real world today? Let's quickly go over some of the most common ways people practice what we now call intermittent fasting.
I'm sure you've heard these terms thrown around. You've got alternate day fasting, which is pretty much what it sounds like. You fast one day, eat normally the next. Then there's periodic fasting. This is where you might do a full 24-hour fast, say once or twice a week. And probably the one you hear about most is time-restricted eating. This is the classic 16-8 method, where you eat all your food within an 8-hour window and fast for the other 16 hours of the day.
But here's the bottom line. It doesn't really matter what you call it, or which schedule you follow. Whether it's the ancient Upavasa or a modern 16-8 plan, the core principle is exactly the same. And I think the source material says it perfectly. The real power of fasting is that it allows the system gets an opportunity to heal naturally. It's that simple.
So we'll leave you with this one final thought. We spend so much time and energy obsessing over what to eat. Is this a superfood? Should I eat this or that? But what if the biggest breakthrough for our health isn't about what's on our plate at all? What if the more important question we should be asking is when? It's a pretty radical shift in thinking, but it's one where ancient wisdom and modern science are finally and powerfully starting to shake hands.